Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I'm always doing a sound check. Good evening and welcome to Liz Live. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Liz Live. As always, if you guys have any trouble hearing me, just, send me put something in the chat. Don't text me on my personal phone because all my friends do that during the show and it interrupts the connection, so we don't want any of that to happen. So I'm just waiting for everyone to just get a chance to log on. It's just 6 o'clock now, and I'm very excited to talk to you about tonight's show. We have a bunch of things we're talking about, and we're talking about feeling stuck and how feeling stuck could be potentially a connection or a misconnection in your chakras, that you could potentially be blocked in your chakras. And we're going to talk about the 3 chakras that we're working on this week. Okay, I'm not frozen anymore. Okay. So, hello everybody, hello and good evening and welcome to Liz Live. Tonight we're talking about the chakras, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the root chakra. Now, why would anybody care about this? Why are they important? And how do they relate to our emotional life? And how do they relate to real life circumstances? Because if you don't know a lot about Reiki or the chakra system, and you see me posting a bunch of things and talking about it, a lot of people are just like, Liz, what is this? What's with all the chakras and what does it mean? And I don't understand. So on my website, upliftmeliz.com, which you can get through any of my social media, you can read all about my practice and all about what's new and what's happening. And hi, somebody. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see who it is, but good evening. So tonight we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, I am Elizabeth Stadtlander, and I am a marriage and family therapist and mental health counselor, and I'm also a Reiki Master. So just recently, I started including all the energy healing that I do. I started including it in the practice because I was getting such amazing results with all my clients that I really wanted to share it with everybody. And so the last couple of weeks we've been talking about it because I want everyone to sort of understand why chakras and how chakras, our energy centers, are practically connected to real life. So it doesn't seem like some weird far out there thing. So we're going to start with talking about the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and then the root chakra. So we're going to go in kind of out of order. So we started talking about this a little bit last week, that a lot of times people feel very stuck. And there's a couple reasons why we might feel stuck in our lives. It could be because we're trying so hard to get something accomplished. We're trying so hard. We feel like we're doing everything right. We're taking care of ourselves. We're doing everything we possibly can. We're watching all these manifestation videos and why isn't it working out for me? And still nothing's happening. And especially that can happen like when you're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting to hear about a job, or if someone new you met's going to call you back, and you just feel stuck and you want to just hurry up and let's get going, but life's not going. And I think that happens to all of us at some point. And it's come to be my understanding from all these years I've been counseling people and doing Reiki, that when certain chakras in our system are blocked, it's really blocking emotions. So when we're talking about energy in the context of my practice, you could almost just put the word emotion in because it's almost the same thing. So we're going to start with the heart chakra, and we're going to talk about why you might feel stuck or what could be a symptom of a stuck heart chakra. So the heart chakra is a power center. The heart chakra is an all-knowing, loving, I would almost say it's like another brain. Okay, so like the head, our brains think, they process information, they receive information, but the heart knows. The heart doesn't analyze, the heart doesn't wonder. We always know in our hearts if we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Now, whether or not we listen to that is a whole other situation. But you could probably think back to certain relationships you've had, or maybe certain business deals you were getting involved in that didn't work out. And you probably had a little message from your heart, like I don't know, Elizabeth, I don't know if I should go doing this. Do you guys have to bark when I start? Yes? You want to come over here? I have to deal with barking dogs sometimes. So your heart is very powerful because we love through the heart. The heart knows. The heart is almost like a security camera. It's always out in front of you, and it's always sending you messages. So I want you guys to really think about that because that's very important. So we often, when we're starting and we're getting into a new relationship, or we're in a relationship and something comes up that's, very important, and we feel like I don't really know what to do. The truth is, you do know what to do. You do know. We all know in our hearts, and we can all look back at those times and say, I knew something in my gut was telling me. Well, your gut is your heart. It's a very special place. And generally, when we think about the heart chakra, we think about your emotionality, how you express your emotions. Do you keep them inside? Do you express them? And ultimately, how comfortable are you being close to somebody? Because if being close to someone is scary for you, then chances are you're going to be involved in toxic types of relationships. And the reason I say that is because if you're afraid of getting close to someone and you're afraid of intimacy, then chances are a person that's going to match your energy is going to be the same way. Okay, they're not going to feel comfortable getting close. And so that comes out in like these very toxic patterns, because when two people are together that are truly deep in their hearts, uncomfortable or afraid of closeness, they're going to be playing cat and mouse games. They're going to be playing all kinds of games with each other and picking up and leaving, breaking up and making up. So if you have those kind of patterns in any of your relationships, that's a heart chakra issue for the most part. My little dog, Corsi, come here. Hopefully he'll stop whining. So your heart chakra is definitely, I think, one of the most important chakras in relationships. And because it's your gut, because it gives you the real truth of the matter, because you may not be able to come up with the right words sometimes, but you know exactly what you feel. And if you're in a relationship, or maybe you didn't know, that has those toxic patterns of making up, breaking up, and cat and mouse, and power struggles, and constant fighting, then it's a heart chakra issue. So what do we do if we have a blocked heart chakra? And if you guys, excuse me for 1 second, I just have to grab a little doggy. Hold on a second. Of course. Okay. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys have dogs. You understand. It's only when I get on camera that they do this. So if your heart chakra is feeling blocked, you might have those kind of patterns. You might be also a little bit of an isolationist. So we can go one way with the heart chakra where we get into these, very toxic patterns and relationships. And then we also can get into a feeling of where our heart chakra is so closed off and so blocked that we're going to close it off, and we're not going to want to get close to people. So those are some symptoms that, you're going to definitely run into and you're going to see. So what do you do if you have a blocked heart chakra, and how does the heart chakra get blocked? Well, every time let's say you're in a relationship and you suspect somebody's cheating on you, or you're afraid, like you can't trust them. That all comes from the heart. And you're thinking about it all the time. You might be speaking about it to your partner, you might be talking about it with your friends. Well, every time you talk about the situation, it fills up your heart with negativity. And negative energy that builds and builds and builds and builds actually blocks these energy centers that we have in the body. It literally blocks them. And that's where a Reiki healer like myself can come in and remove those blocks and get energy flowing again. But we'll get to that in a minute. So I want you guys to have a true understanding of what these different energy centers mean, because if you don't get it, Reiki's going to seem ridiculous and it's not going to make sense. So the heart's so important because it knows, I always think of my heart as it knows everything. It knows and it feels all truths. It's what allows me to either open up to love that's being given and is open for me to give back. And the heart also has to be open to receive. And when any of those things are blocked, you're going to have, if any of those things are taking place, that's going to block your heart. So every time you think about something that might happen in your relationship, or something that you're scared about when it comes to love, or you don't love yourself and you don't think you're good enough, or you don't think you're enough in many ways, all of those emotions, just imagine that they're putting black dust, black dust, black dust, black dust, and it builds and builds and builds, and eventually, if you throw enough black dust, it's going to get hard and it's going to cause a blockage. So that's what I see when I look at people's energy fields. I can see where blockages are. And the heart is a big one. Heart also tends to carry grief. So if we lost a loved one, going through a divorce, the heart is just sad, right? We carry grief in our hearts and our lungs. So we know that if we've gone through any kind of extreme loss, that's sitting in the heart too. So if these are things that you're going through or have gone through or experience on a regular basis, then you can start to understand what's happening in this energy center, in your heart center, and why it's so important to clear that. So it's all these fear-based negative emotions that build up there. So how we unblock the heart chakra is sort of my job. When I'm working on somebody and I'm doing an energy healing and I'm doing Reiki, I can actually see in my mind, when I'm working on your energy field, I can see those blockages. And then when I see those blockages, I'll tell you, while we're doing the Reiki, I'll say, okay, your heart chakra feels very blocked, it feels very closed, or wow, your heart feels really open, just depending. And then I will, through my certain Reiki techniques, unblock that heart so that you feel more free to love, to receive. And also, you're going to start feeling really uncomfortable when someone you love is hurting you. And you're going to, maybe you put up with something for a really long time, and then once you start clearing out your heart, the negative energy starts to feel really, really bad. You start to really feel it. So that's about the heart. No, Roxy. Part of watching the Liz Live show, for now anyway, is going to have a little dog barking. I'm so sorry about that. I am so sorry about that. Okay, so that's the heart chakra. So let's move up to the throat chakra. And I'm actually wearing a blue stone over my heart chakra. The throat chakra. The throat chakra is very important, and I see that this is a very common one that gets blocked when you are in a relationship and you do not feel like your voice is being heard. So if you're in a relationship where you try to discuss things with your partner and say, I have this need, I want to spend more time with you, or I was really hurt when you said this to me last night, or I'm feeling really distant with you. And if you say those things and you get no response from your partner, or they deny it, or they just keep doing it, eventually you're not going to say anything anymore, because why repeat your needs over and over again if nobody's listening? And a really good analogy for this, a family member of mine many years ago adopted two children from China. And when they first brought the first baby over, he was now like 25, she had been in an orphanage for about a year and a half before my family adopted her. And so when she would cry and she would need, attention or food or love, she would be completely ignored. And my aunt said, when you walked into the orphanage, this is in China, you just see all these babies laying by themselves and they're never being responded to. And when you don't respond, then the babies actually stop crying. And that was something that they had to deal with when she first came here. She didn't talk, she didn't make any noise because she was so afraid and no one listened to her. So we all have needs in our relationships. And if you don't have a clear communication with your partner, throat chakra is the communication center of our energy system. So if you can't communicate, or when you have communicated, you feel like it's falling on deaf ears, it's going to back up. Just like the heart chakra gets blocked, the throat chakra gets blocked from holding back what you want to say, having your voice responded to, not having certain needs met. And in some cases, when people get upset or they get angry, they hold everything inside and they never speak. And this is a huge problem for the entire energetic system, for the entire energy system, because when we're not expressing anything, we're being completely passive to the outside. But believe me, there's a lot going on the inside. And if you have so many things you want to say to your partner and you just hold them in and you don't say them, that is going to block your throat chakra. And you can apply this to any relationship. It could be a boss, it could be your parents, it could be your children, friends, siblings. It's very important to be able to speak your truth. Another thing that was in our video this week on Instagram and that I see a lot of is we tend to say yes when we mean no. And this is something that I go over with many of my clients when they're saying yes to something and they really don't want to do it. So why not just say no? If someone asks you to go to lunch or somebody asks you to do something with them and you're really tired or you can't make it, we should have the freedom to say, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm exhausted, I can't make it. I just can't do it. So that would be something that when we don't do that, and that's kept inside of us, that is also something that is going to be a block to the throat chakra. So anything with communication. Another thing that blocks the heart chakra oftentimes are tears. When we really need to cry and we really need to express ourselves and we're holding back tears, how you get that lump in your throat, it hurts. That's your throat chakra being blocked, right? And there's a physical response that's attached to that while your throat actually closes up, but your communication center is almost being held prisoner and it's not healthy. So when you have blocks in your energy system, no matter where it is, if it's the heart, if it's the throat, think about what it does to your whole energetic system. So if you have, for example, a blockage in your heart, your real heart, like you have a coronary issue, and one of your arteries is blocked, you can have a heart attack because it clogs up the whole system, the whole cardiovascular system. So it's just the same with energy, it's just a different system. So we can have a block anywhere and it's going to back up the whole system. And so what the really divine and very practical, helpful thing about Reiki is that we, as Reiki practitioners, well, at least I'll speak for myself, I know how to get rid of these blockages, I know how to unblock you, but then it's up to you to work on these things. So when I do my fusion sessions, which is talk therapy and Reiki, I do the Reiki first. So I can see where the energetic blockages are, I can remove those, but then I'll say to you, okay, whomever it is, I feel I saw a lot of blocks in your heart chakra, and this is what I'm feeling. Or I feel a lot of tears that were held back in your throat chakra. And sometimes people just break down and cry right there, which is actually a really good thing, because we need that release, and we need to treat our own feelings and ourselves as important. And oftentimes in relationships, we make the other person more important, which I think there should be kind of an even back and forth. But of course, what I'm seeing in therapy, because they're coming for help, is I see an imbalance where, the person who's coming to see me is the one holding everything in, not speaking up for herself or himself, not expressing her true love for somebody because of many different things, but it all comes down to that blockage. So the energy system, our emotional system, is very, very real. And it really, when you learn how to clear, and you go to someone that knows how to clear it, it makes all the difference in the world. And in the fusion sessions, you're not just getting Reiki, then you're getting me, the therapist, helping you through those issues that I find in your energetic system. It's really, like I say, they are the most fabulous sessions. Everybody just loves them. So, little plug for myself there. So we've got the throat for communication, we've got the heart for love and true knowing, and then we have the root chakra. The root chakra is really at the back of the base of our spine. And this one is really interesting and really important. So it is what it sounds like. A root chakra is the energy center that makes us feel grounded, that makes us feel stable, safe, secure. And when we are in situations, be it a living situation, a relationship, a financial situation, a work situation that makes us feel insecure, we feel very unstable or very insecure, your root chakra is going to get all blocked up. So when I am trying to work on someone's root chakra, I always tell them to imagine that from the waist down, this may sound kind of silly, but we do this in a meditation, from the waist down, you are a tree trunk. And you are going to send these big roots of a huge tree out of your legs and feet, and you're going to ground yourself deep down into that earth, because we all need that stability in our lives. And again, when people are going through divorces and they're moving to different homes, or maybe going away to college for the first time, or moving, even something that can be a fun move can knock out your root chakra. Financial problems are a big one, because without money in our world, it's very hard to be stable, and it's very hard to be able to take care of the things that make us feel rooted to our homes, to the earth, like our mortgage payments, our utilities, our rent payments. When that becomes an issue, we get really thrown off. You get anxious, right? When we have financial problems, they can eat you up on the inside. You get anxious, you feel unstable, you start feeling like you're under all this pressure. Well, that's the root system. And when I just did it this morning, I did a big grounding session for a client of mine who's really going through a very uprooting situation where her husband passed away suddenly a few months ago, and she's going to sell her house and move, and that will just rip your roots right out of the ground. Just imagine taking a tree and digging out the roots and knocking it on the ground. That's what happens to people. It's very traumatizing. So the root chakra is incredibly important, because those are our feelings of home, of security and stability. So if you're feeling anxious, does that mean that your root chakra's off? Not necessarily, but it's going to tell me, like would tell anyone, that something is off. Now, is that because you have blocks in your chakras? Is that because the blocks in the chakras are just really telling me, they're giving me a really deep and very true way of understanding another person's emotions? So anxiety can come from any of the chakras. There's 7. I'm talking about 3 tonight. So you could have anxiety because you're not speaking your truth. You could have anxiety because you feel like you can't trust your partner, or you can't trust yourself, or your needs aren't getting met. Or you could feel anxious because of financial situation or a living situation that makes you feel unstable. For example, if you ever went through a divorce and someone's leaving the house and someone's staying and it hasn't been worked out yet, how uncomfortable is it to live in the same house with somebody that you're essentially breaking off your relationship with, or at least very much changing that relationship? That's going to knock you off your seat, your roots. So all 3 of these chakras are so important, and through practicing Reiki, which we're going to do a little bit of a healing tonight, there's ways to unblock those chakras, but you need someone who's really good and knows what they're doing. So a big difference between me and, let's say, a general Reiki practitioner, not that they're all great and talented, I'm not saying anything negative about them, but you're not going to get the therapy part. So a typical Reiki session is you go into a room and you're on a table like you're going to get a massage. But instead of the massage, you're getting energy clearing. So it can feel really wonderful, but you're not getting the other piece of it, which is discussing, exploring, and having therapy on these emotional issues. So that's why my sessions are just so amazingly awesome and incredible. They are really life-changing. Okay, so what can you do before you get to my Reiki session, before you have one? What can you do? Well, there's a couple things. So one is be proactive with your energy, be proactive with your emotions. So be very careful who you hang out with, where you go, and what your levels of energy are. Meaning, if you're exhausted, don't push it, because you're going to make yourself do something that you really don't want to do. And if you do that too often, guess what? You're not speaking your truth. You're not being true to yourself. And you're going to have a blocked throat chakra. And not only do we get emotional symptoms from blocked chakras, but we get physical symptoms. I know for me, because I talk for a living basically, and I'm talking all day long, and I'm a communicator, that I so often get bronchial infections and laryngitis, and have trouble. I have breathing issues similar to asthma. Like, obviously, look what I do for a living. So I should be better at taking care of it, protecting my voice. So I've gotten really strict about talking on the phone at night, and I know a lot of my friends don't like it, and my family, but I just can't. I've talked all day long for work, and I used to talk all day long in therapy, and then the phones start ringing at night for my friends, and I love talking to my friends, but I had to put boundaries up. And since I've done that, knock on wood, I haven't had any more throat infections, right? Because I'm protecting my energy. So boundary setting and protecting your energy is a big part of being proactive with your energy and protecting it. If you're upset about something in a relationship of any nature, talk about it. I'm not saying fight. I'm not saying be aggressive, but talk about it. And if you can't talk about it in the moment because you're not ready for that, or you're afraid, write it down on a piece of paper. And a lot of times when we think we have things that we want to say, I always tell people, write it in black and white first on a piece of paper. Don't type it, write it. Go through the process with pen and paper and write it out. And a lot of times while we're doing that, we'll come to find out, you know what? that wasn't such a big deal. You know what, I'm just gonna let this one go. Or the opposite, you start writing it down and you realize, wow, this person really mistreated me. And I see a pattern of consistently being treated a certain way. And you know what? I'm gonna have a conversation about it. Or I tell people, if you're not gonna have a conversation and you're not gonna address the issue, then you truly have to let it go. I mean, you can't do both because you'll torture yourself. So if you really want to confront someone about something, you really want to have a conversation, and I find especially my clients will mull over it forever. And we could take up 4 or 5 sessions, discussing this. And at each session, well, did you talk to, your mom about it? Did you talk to your girlfriend about it? Did you talk to your husband? Did you talk to your wife? Not yet. So then I say, okay, well, we've talked this to death. Okay, so in talking about this issue, it helps release a little bit from the throat chakra. But then you can't keep carrying it around and torturing yourself. Oh, I should have called, I shouldn't have called. You've got to let it go. You just have to. Otherwise, you're not being true to yourself. When we're untrue to ourselves, the body keeps a score, the chakras keep score, and we will start feeling drained. We will start feeling all of the things that I described. And when you have blocked chakras, you're going to feel it in a lot of different ways. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel burnout. And these were all the things we talked about last week. So there are serious emotional wellness issues that occur from being untrue to yourself. And a lot of times we need therapy to be able to do that. We don't have those skills. They don't teach us communication skills and relationships in school. So if you don't take it upon yourself to learn or to practice, how are you ever gonna know? So it takes coming to therapy to really be able to sit back and think about what it is that you want, what's being affected, where am I blocked? And obviously, the root chakra will throw everything off, and back pain, nervousness, anxiety, a lot of fear when our root chakra is blocked. And that's what blocks root chakras, right? So it's a cycle, and that's why keeping them clear and protecting your energy is so critical. Another thing that you can do, and this is sort of bringing in like a whole nother subject, but another thing you can do in the meantime until you get your session is you can use crystals or color therapy in general. Now, what does that have to do with it? I'm going to explain. So each energy center, so we're talking about the throat, the heart, and the root, have associated colors. So the throat chakra is a blue color. Okay, so I have a turquoise stone to protect my throat, but I also have other blue stones. This is one of my favorites. And sometimes I'll just close my eyes and I'll put a crystal on my chakras. Now, a lot of you might be like, that sounds completely wacky, but I'll tell you what, it's not, and it feels good. Even if you put them in the freezer, or you warm them up a little bit, and just the sensation is relaxing. So we have blue on the throat, and our heart chakra, believe it or not, is green. So you can either lay with a green stone on your heart and just close your eyes and breathe, or this is too much information, but the opposite colors of the chakras also work in a more gentle way. So, but we'll just stick with the basic stuff now. So blue for the throat, green stones for the heart, and then the root chakra is associated with the color red or any earthy tones. So this is one of my root chakra stones, and sometimes I'll just sleep with it under my back, or I'll sleep with it under my pillow, or I'll just put it in the bed. I know people who carry them in their pockets and carrying them in their purses. And once you really learn how to use crystals, they can be really amazing. If you don't know about them, they sound like, I always thought that was the biggest BS was crystals. But then I started learning them and I love crystals. But sometimes when I do Reiki healing, I will put a crystal on a chakra while I'm working on it. And that tends to really help. So there's little things we can do. There's exercises and foods and all kinds of things. You could probably type it into Google. But the bottom line is you need to get your chakras cleared by someone who knows what they're doing. And then you may find that in order to keep up the way you feel, because when you, after Reiki, you feel like a new person. You feel lighter, you feel energetic, you feel maybe really sleepy, you'll take a nap and you'll feel phenomenal when you wake up. And I would say a Reiki session with no therapy and none of the information I'm giving you is probably good for a couple of days. That's it. And then you start getting out into the world, you forget about everything, and everything gets clogged up. So Reiki without education and without therapy is great in the moment, but the long-term effects are not going to be the same as what you're getting from me, because you're getting, we call it psychoeducating, meaning you're learning about the psychology of the energy centers, and now you can do something about it. You know, you can be aware that you have these energy centers, and you can start learning, which I'll teach you. I teach my clients how to meditate. I teach them how to clear. I teach them all these really wonderful tips and tricks to do to really start to unblock and clear your energy. So you understand from what I explained that the throat chakra is imperative for communication. Did I say the heart? The throat chakra is imperative for communication. The heart chakra is imperative for love, love loss, trust, grief, all of that. Knowing the truth about things, knowing there's a difference between I think so and I know so. The heart knows, the mind thinks, right? And the mind can run away with fears and all these crazy emotions. We want to stay in our hearts. The root chakra is a miserable one to have blocked. I've had a blocked root chakra quite a few times in my life, and you're just always on edge and you're very anxious, and it's not a good way to live. And any big change will knock off the root chakra. So now that you have some information, you can kind of practice at home or get yourself a couple crystals, or try to just close your eyes and just put your hand over your chakra. Very simple. Or I love like just closing my eyes and putting my hand over my heart chakra. You know, just the warmth from my hands. You'll see it'll take your awareness from all this crazy feelings and everything and ridiculous stuff that your head tells you. As soon as you put your hands on your heart, your awareness shifts from up here to here, and it's very relaxing. It's very lovely. And the root chakra is kind of a hard place to reach, but you know, you can get a warm or pack or a cool pack and just put it under your chakra and just imagine energy going into it. Okay, so let me see what time it is, and we'll do a quick little Reiki energy healing. Okay, we're pretty good on time. So let's see. Okay, hello everybody. Okay, so all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a final, like just in closing, we're gonna do a cleansing meditation for the throat, for the heart, and for the root chakra. Okay, so I want everybody who's listening to just go ahead and close your eyes and take a couple really deep breaths. And I always tell people, breathe in light, exhale any negativity, any stress. Just inhale the light, take a couple deep breaths, And just that starts to slow your heart rate down, and it'll start to relax you. So after you've taken a couple deep breaths, I want you to just keeping your eyes closed, and I'm just gonna send some Reiki out there to the masses, all of love and for your highest good. Do we connect to your energy fields tonight, to whoever is of love and light who is watching? I want you to imagine that there is a beautiful beam of white light that is descending from the sky down through the top of your head, your crown chakra, and coming through your third eye, which is in between your eyebrows, your sinuses, your jaw, and then through that throat. And let that light just circulate there for a moment. And imagine that there's just a light orb just circling around that throat chakra. And taking all the junk out, all the things that you want to say that you never did. Let all that go. And let that white light just kind of massage your throat chakra. Okay? And then that light's going to continue down to your heart space, which is in between your rib cage, right in your chest, right next to the actual heart. So we're going to go into that heart and let this white light circle around your heart chakra and feel it just taking everything out of it. And then we're going to go down through the other chakras, and we're going to go down to that root chakra that makes us feel safe and secure. And I want you to imagine that this white light turns into a ruby red beam of light shooting out the root into the earth, bringing stability and peace. And the white light comes around and continues to go down your legs and out from your feet. And your feet are going to grow roots of light out of the bottom of your feet. And you're going to send those roots of light all the way down as far as they can go into the earth. And anchor yourself there. So right now you're connected to the earth, you're connected to the universe, and you have this beautiful divine stream of white light that is like almost like a pipe that's connected to the roots in your feet, and everything that's negative is just draining out of your energy system and into those roots. And from those roots of light, like you see a plant, if you overwater it and the water just pours out the bottom of the planter, I want you to just take a deep breath in and just let go of all that, any stress from today, any negativity, any triggers of anything that we talked about that you resonated with. Let it all go and imagine that everything negative is just coming out down your feet, out of the roots, and draining into the earth. Draining into the earth. And you feel so good and so much lighter. And as we're meditating, I'm sending certain healing frequencies out into the cosmos to you guys that are clearing. I'm sending the clearing frequency to help clear you. And I want you to bring that fresh, new energy from the new earth back up through the roots of light coming from your feet. Bring it all the way up and let the roots come back in through to the body, through the feet. And you're bringing all that energy up with you. And as that's moving, your red light beam that you shot out from your root chakra comes back up into your body. And this green healing energy, there's a green healing energy that is coming to you from the earth, through your chakra system, through your organs, your bloodstream, your nerves, your bones, everything, and then coming right back into the heart, and it's going to stop right in the heart. And I want everyone to put your hands on your heart and see if you can mentally just drop into your heart space. Just put your attention there and just feel the warmth of your hands on your heart as I'm sending, clearing, and pulling out all the yuckies that we get stuck. And then the light is going to circle around your heart a few more times, and then it's going to come up to that throat chakra. And that green healing light is going to go around your throat chakra and take out any unkind words that you thought, any unkind thoughts, any fears, any negative self-talk is just being transmuted to light as this orb circulates around your throat chakra. It feels so good. I can feel it. I can feel releasing. And then we're going to let that light go all the way back up through our heads and send that light beam all the way back to the sun from whence it came. And we always, after a healing, we always say thank you 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Isn't that lovely? I could feel people releasing things. That was really cool. So I hope you're feeling energized. If you like this, I have something very exciting for you, because starting on this coming Monday, June 30th, I'm doing a 7-week group chakra healing. I have very limited spacing because I want to keep it small. And each week, we're just going to focus on one chakra. So we're going to start out with the crown chakra. And that's going to be this coming Monday. And the whole healing session will be just on the crown chakra, then the second week the third eye, third week the throat, and so on and so forth. So in this healing series is really special because it's not just going through all the chakras in a meditation. We are going to get deep into clearing out each one of these chakras, and we're also going to talk and learn a very in-depth about how these chakras are being impacted by our emotions and how our emotions are simultaneously impacting these energy centers in our body that are so critical. And once you learn this, it's going to really change your life. It will. It changed mine and everyone else who learns it. And you will be able to experience so much more joy in your life, and you'll feel so empowered because you'll be able to speak and learn how to stand up for yourself and stand up in your relationships. You're going to learn how to open up your heart and not to fear that, and how to just activate all of these powerful energy centers. So I'm really looking forward to that. So hurry up, and you can sign up on Facebook or Instagram. It has a link that'll take you right to my website, and you can just purchase right on the website. Very simple, 1, 2, 3. And when you purchase it, I'll get your email and your name, and I will send you the Zoom link, because this will be private. It's not open to the public, and it's only for the people who are paying and really want to participate. So you can buy week by week, or you can buy the full series, or you can buy half of the series, but I hope you all join us for the full series. And if you need to pay week by week, that's fine too, but it'll be worth it, I promise. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to share these really interesting new things about energy and emotions so that we can feel more in control over our lives and we know how to really protect our energy. And keep following me, please, 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 pretty please. Like and share and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and all the links are right here in my bio. So you get notified of everything I'm doing. You don't miss anything. You don't miss any of these free healings or the Liz Lives. We're going to be talking about so many awesome, interesting things that will be so helpful to you. And this combination of Reiki and therapy is amazing. I am so passionate about it because I love it. It's changed my life and all of my clients. So please make sure you do that. Have a beautiful, safe, loving evening. And I will see you guys next week. I love you all. Thank you for joining me and bringing your energy to me tonight and to each other. I am very appreciative. Until next week. Goodbye, everybody.